Thanks for coming to our live radio broadcast of Dracula. And this script was actually written originally by Orson Welles and was broadcast by the Mercury Theater in 1939. And this is, gosh, I don't even know how many we've done of these, Jim, at this point. This is probably about our 8th radio broadcast. They've become sort of a tradition here, and a tradition we hope will continue after Mr. Honeycutt's retirement. Our students have been working very hard on this. The theater students have been working on mastering accents and the intensity through their voices, and the audio production students have been working very hard creating all of the sound effects that are here tonight. So this is a collaboration between my theater class, I'm David Roth, by the way, and Jim Honeycutt's audio production class. So a couple things I should tell you. We've got 2 signs above us. One is an on-air sign and one is an applause sign. When you see the applause sign, please applaud. And I think that is about it. Oh, there's going to be some loud noises, including a gunshot, so don't be frightened by that. And just remember that the medium that people would have originally listened to this in is through your ears. So take some time and close your eyes occasionally, listen to just the sounds, and see if you can be transported back to London and to Transylvania around the turn of the century. And without any more ado, please enjoy our production of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
WWPT and Staples Players Radio present Bram Stoker's chilling tale, Dracula, adapted for radio by Orson Welles and originally broadcast by the Mercury Theater on July 11th, 1938. Our presentation is brought to you by Anchor Hawking, the most famous name in glass.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Gwendolyn Harker. I'm here tonight because the events that I will relay had a great impact on my family, in particular my dear brother Jonathan and to his fiancée, my dear friend Mina Murray. I bear witness to the truth of certain events which you may find hard to believe, but I ask you to believe them. I have here certain documents, telegrams, clippings from the press of the day, memoranda, and letters in various hands. All needless matters have been eliminated. Through the history almost at variance with the possibilities of contemporary belief, they stand forth a simple fact. I present to you first with excerpts from the private journal of my brother, Jonathan Harker.
I, Jonathan Harker, lawyer's clerk, articles to Peter Hawkins, Esquire of Exeter, England, am writing this journal in the hope that if misfortune overtakes me, it may one day come to the eyes of those who love me. I set out from London on the last day of April, to visit one of our clients in Eastern Europe. On May the 3rd, I arrived in Budapest and came after nightfall to Klausenburg, on the border of Transylvania. At Bistritz, there was a letter of welcome for me from my client, informing me that his carriage would await for me at the Borgo Pass. It was signed, Dracula.
Bukovina! Coach for Bukovina!
The road was rough, but still we seemed to fly over it with feverish haste. When it grew dark, there seemed to be some excitement among the passengers. They kept speaking to the driver and looking at me, and urging him on with greater speed. The crazy coach rocked from its great leather springs. The mountains seemed to come nearer to us on either side. Coachman, coachman, what is it? Where are we?
You are nearing your destination, young heir. This is the Borgo Pass.
There are black, rolling clouds overhead, and in the air the heavy, oppressive sense of thunder. Now we go through the pass.
The young heir is not expected after all.
You are early tonight, my friend.
A coach with 4 horses had drawn up beside us.
Let me help you, sir.
The coachman smiled, and the lamplight fell on a hard-looking mouth, with berry red lips and sharp-looking teeth as white as ivory. We began to move. I looked back. The coach with its load of passengers had vanished from sight. We swept into the darkness of the pass. I struck a match. It was within a few minutes of midnight. Then a dog began to howl somewhere far down the road. The wind was rising. moaning and whistling through the rocks, and the branches of the trees crashed together as we swept along. It grew colder and colder still, and fine, powdery snow began to fall. The baying of wolves sounded nearer and nearer, as if they were closing round on us from every side. We kept on ascending, always ascending. The howling of wolves was growing less. Presently, it ceased altogether. And just then, the moon broke through the black clouds, and by its light, I saw around us a ring of wolves running alongside the carriage, in silence, with white teeth and lolling red tongues, with long sinewy limbs and shaggy hair.
Welcome to my house.
I must have fallen asleep. The carriage had pulled up in the courtyard of a vast ruined castle. The coachman was nowhere to be seen.
Welcome to my house. Come freely, go safely, and leave something of the happiness you bring.
Count Dracula?
I am Dracula.
The face was strong, very strong, aquiline. The mouth, so far as I can see it under the heavy moustache, was fixed and rather cruel looking, with peculiarly sharp, white teeth.
You hear them, Mr. Harker.
The wolves?
The children of the night. As you say, Mr. Harker, the wolves. Listen! Come now. There are many things you must tell me tomorrow, of England and of the estate that you have purchased for me.
Ah, yes.
The estate is called Carfax, I believe.
Yes, that's so.
But now, I will detain you no longer. You will find your room in readiness, and I advise you not to leave it during the night.
This castle is on the very edge of a terrible precipice. A stone falling from the window would fall 1,000 feet without touching anything. I explored. There are doors. Doors everywhere. All of them locked. The door to the Great Hall, the door to the courtyard. Every door in the castle is closed, bolted against me. Castle Dracula is a prison. And I am a prisoner. The next night, I could not sleep. So after a few hours, I got up, and lighting my candle, I placed my shaving mirror on the dressing table, and was just beginning to shave.
You feel rested, Mr. Harker.
I had not seen him, although the reflection of the glass covered the whole room behind me. I turned to the glass again. Count Dracula was close to me, and I could see him over my shoulder, but there was no reflection of him in the mirror. It was blank. I started and cut myself on the side of the throat. The blood was trickling down my neck.
Ah!
My mirror!
The blood, the blood! Wipe the blood away from your face, Mr. Harker. And take care how you cut yourself. It is more dangerous than you think in this country.
Later that night, I had trouble sleeping, and I was surprised to find the door to my room open. As I wandered the castle, I heard voices that somehow enticed me.
Jonathan, come to me, come.
Jonathan, come to me.
The voices were coming from a bedchamber. As I opened the door, I saw 3 beautiful women with luxurious long hair and enticing bodies, but like Count Dracula, sharp teeth and no color in their faces to speak of.
Jonathan, I need you. Come to me now.
Jonathan, come to me. Lay down. Lay back into my arms.
Jonathan, come to me. Your skin is so soft.
How dare you touch him! He belongs to me!
You yourself never loved.
Yes, I too can love, and I shall love again.
Are we to have nothing tonight? We are so hungry.
We need him.
Then to my horror, the Count took from the folds of his robes a crying human infant. No!
Thank you, Master. Thank you.
When I awoke, I found most of my things were gone. My passport, my notes, my letter of credit. I could find no trace of them anywhere. And my door was locked from the outside. June 20th. There is work of some kind going on in the castle. Now and then I hear the faraway muffled sound of mattock and spade. And last night, the second of 3 dated letters, which Dracula made me write. The second of that series, which was to blot out the very traces of my existence from the earth, went forth. Count Dracula!
Yes, my young friend.
Well, what of me? When am I free? When can I leave this place?
Free? Mr. Harker, you are always free. You want to leave? Would you like to leave tonight?
Yes, yes, in God's name!
My dear young friend, not an hour shall you wait in my house against your will. Come, follow me. Your door seems to be bolted. How strange your door is locked.
In God's name, open it!
As you wish, Mr. Harker. You English have a proverb which is very close to my heart. Welcome the coming, speed departing guest. Good night, Mr. Harker.
Shut the door! Shut the door! Shut the door! Shut the door!
The door is shut, Mr. Harker. I take it you will remain.
Morning, June the 30th. These may be the last words I ever write in this diary. God preserve my sanity. I've never seen Count Dracula by day. At sunrise, at the first cockcrow, he is gone. I don't understand these things. I only know that the wolves are baying, and that he is a man with the hair on the palms of his hands, with sharp teeth and no blood in his face. He casts no shadow. He cannot be seen in a glass, and he moves like a bat across the sheer face of the castle walls. He eats no food, and is mortally afraid of the crucifix. As I write this, I hear in the courtyard the rolling of heavy wheels and the cracking of whips. And there is in the passageway below a pound of heavy boxes being set down, boxes shaped like coffins, and I know what they hold. The boxes are filled with the holy earth from the chapel beneath the castle. The last box being nailed down. And now I hear the heavy feet tramping again. The door is shut, and the chains rattle. In the courtyard and down the rocky way, the roll of heavy wheels and the cracking of whips. Help! 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 The wagons have gone. Dracula has left me with these women, these devils of the pit. They drain my blood to keep me weak, barely alive, so I cannot escape. I will try one last time today to escape to the water. There must be a passageway to the river, and then away from this cursed land where the devil and his children still walk with earthly feet. I am alone with them in the castle. I am alone!
Jonathan, come to me, come.
Jonathan, come to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Gwendolyn Harker. My brother, Jonathan Harker's journal terminates at this point. I now present into evidence a clipping dated August of that year from the Yorkshire Telegraph from my correspondence in Whitby. One of the greatest and sudden of storms on record was experienced here today. The weather has been somewhat sultry, but Saturday evening was fine. The band was playing, the piers were crowded with holidaymakers. The winds went away entirely in the evening, and there was a dead calm. There were but few lights at sea. The only sail noticeable was a foreign schooner, and a full canvas that was seemingly going westward. A little after midnight came a strange sound from over the sea, and high overhead the air began to carry a strange, faint, hollow booming. Then without warning the tempest broke, and there with all sails set was the foreign schooner rushing with terrific speed toward the shore. The searchlight was turned on her, and there lashed to the helm was a corpse, with drooping head which swayed horribly to and fro at each motion of the ship. A moment later, she crashed. And a strange thing was seen. At the very instant she touched, a huge dog sprang up on deck from below and, running forward, jumped from the bow onto the sand and, making straight up the east cliff toward the graveyard, vanished into the night. The Coast Guard going abroad at dawn found the dead man fastened to a spoke of the wheel. Tightly clutched in one hand was a crucifix. The man must have been dead for quite 2 days, and in the pocket of the dead man's coat was found a bottle, carefully corked, containing a roll of paper. This proved to be an addendum to the ship's log. There was found on board only a small amount of cargo, and that of the most unusual nature. Apparently, the ship carried nothing but earth. metal and earth packed away in wooden boxes, shaped much like coffins.
Captain's log of the Demeter, Russian flag, Black Sea to Whitby, July 6th. Finished taking in cargo, a queer cargo, boxes of earth. At noon set sail, east wind, fresh. Crew, 4 hands, 2 mates, cook, and myself, captain. July 11th, entered Bosporus. At dark, passed through Dardanelles. Mate reported in the morning that one of the crew, Viadin, was missing.
Took larboard watch 8 bells last night. He was relieved by Talisian, who never came back to his bunk. There is something aboard this ship. No, don't laugh, Captain. In the rain last night, a tall, thin man went up the companionway and along the deck forward and disappeared. When I go to the bow, no one. And the hatchways were all closed.
July 22nd. Rough water last 3 days. All hands busy with sails. No time to be frightened. Past Gibraltar and out through straits. All well. July 24th. Last night. All hand was lost. Disappeared.
Like Talisian, he came off his watch at midnight and we never seen him again. You take your watch now. I don't take watch alone no more.
Nor will I.
No more. Double watch.
Double watch.
July 29th. Had single watch tonight, as crew too tired to double. When morning comes...
Hey! Balaki below! Balaki! Where the guns? Balaki gone like the others. Like all the others.
The mate and I have agreed to go armed henceforth. July 30th. Last night. We are nearing England. Weather fine. All sails set.
Captain, the men on watch are missing. More missing.
Now only self and mate and 1 hand left to work ship. August 3rd. 2 days of fog and not a sail sighted. At midnight I went to relieve the man at wheel, and when I got to it I found no one there.
It's here! I know it now. I saw it. Like a man. Taller and thin. Ghastly pale. It was in the bows and looking out. I gave it my knife. But the knife went right through it, empty as the air.
What are you talking about?
It's here, and I'll find it. It's in the hold, in one of those boxes of earth. I'll unscrew them one by one and see.
He is mad, stark raving mad. It's no use trying to stop him. He can't hurt those big boxes. They are invoiced as common earth.
Ah! He's there! There! Down in the hold. I know the secret now. The sea will save me from him. It's all that's left. It's all that's left!
August 4th. I am all alone on my ship, and still the fog. I dare not go below. I dare not leave the helm. So here all night I stayed. And in the dimness of the night I saw it. I saw him. God forgive me, but the mate was right to jump overboard. It was better to die like a sailor in the blue water. But I am captain, and I must not leave my ship. I have tied my hands to the wheel for when my strength begins to fail. And along with them I shall tie that which it dare not touch, my crucifix. I am growing weaker, and the night is coming on. God and the Blessed Virgin help a poor, ignorant soul trying to do his duty.
You shall be flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood.
Oh my God! My God! You are listening to WWPT and Staples Players' radio production of Bram Stoker's Dracula, adapted for radio by Orson Welles and originally broadcast by the Mercury Theater. We pause now for a word from our sponsors.
What's puzzling you, Applebert?
One of those quizzes, and it says here, what are these men famous for? Sidney Porter, Samuel Clemens, and Charles Dodgson.
Well, they're all great authors.
Well, how come I never heard of them?
You would if they printed their pen names. They're O. Henry, Mark Twain, and Lewis Carroll.
Well, I'll be. Those names are famous. Everybody knows them.
Mm-hmm. Like everybody knows Anchor Hawking, the most famous name in glass.
Diane Allen here. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Someone once said that the world stands aside to make way for the man who knows where he's going. And so tonight, it gives me great pleasure to make way for a man who knows what he's talking about. Harry Von Zell.
Don't ever neglect the cold. At the very first sign of a cold, get after it immediately with the fast help of sparkling, what's the name?
Diane Allen, remember?
No, the name of the, I'm awfully sorry, those wolves have upset me. Can't remember the name of what it is that helps fight colds faster. Slipped my mind.
Well, it'll come to you. Go ahead, Harry.
Well, yes, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, this famous product acts very quickly, yet is exceptionally gentle, and since the progress of a cold is very fast, the greater speed of, what it is I'm talking about is especially important in fighting your cold. And that's not all. The name will come to me in a minute. It also helps nature counteract the acidity that so often accommodates a cold. And, ladies and gentlemen, you can check these facts with your very own doctor.
You better check the name too, ladies and gentlemen.
Diane, you know what I'm talking about now, don't you?
Why, certainly, Harry. You're talking about America's outstanding saline laxative.
That's it, Diane, and the name is?
The name is, so many physicians recommend it.
Yes, and it helps fight colds faster, but what is the name?
Oh, here's a pretty to-do. Wait, Harry, there must be somebody around here who knows. If there is, will you, please tell us confidentially?
Sal Hepatica.
That's it, Sal Hepatica. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Even if you brush in a rush, Brisk Fluoride Toothpaste starts instant action against tooth decay. Brisk, B-R-I-S-K, Brisk.
When you are late and in a rush and you clean your teeth, do you really brush? Or do you just brush in a rush?
This helps protect you from decay, instant action right away, even if you brush in a rush. Brisk Fluoride Toothpaste.
You should brush your teeth thoroughly, but when you have to brush in a rush, Brisk Fluoride Toothpaste starts instant action against tooth decay. Helps strengthen tooth enamel on contact. Instantly destroys most bacteria that cause mouth odor and decay.
Even if you brush in a rush, Brisk Fluoride Toothpaste.
This program is brought to you by the makers of popsicles, fudgesicles, and creamsicles, those delicious frozen confections on a stick. Now, I have a swell surprise for you. The famous winner of the typical American Girl contest has now become Popsicle Pam, and here's a message from her.
Hello, everybody. I sure am glad to meet ya. And boy, am I glad I was picked to be the typical American girl, because now I'm Popsicle Pam. I always wanted to be on the radio, and now I have a chance to tell you about some wonderful presents you can get free. You ought to see them. Hundreds of them. You get them just for saving bags of nifty popsicles, fudgesicles, and creamsicles. Some gift, even better than Christmas. You can get a wristwatch, a movie camera, table tennis, a wallet, a doll. Gee, lots of gifts. Just save the bags from popsicles, pops, creamsicles, and fudgesicles on a handy stick. Boy, do they taste good.
Wholesome, too, and nourishing. Made fresh every day of the finest ingredients. The biggest 5 cents worth anywhere.
I'd say, kid, get the free illustrated popsicle gift list at the Delight Cream Store and a free coupon from Glibbits worth $10.
We now return to WWPT and Staples Players' radio presentation of Bram Stoker's Dracula, brought to you by Anchor Hawking, the most famous name in glass.
Telegram. Dr. Jack Seward, London, to Dr. Abraham Van Helsing, Amsterdam. Lucy Westenra, an alarming condition. Cannot diagnose. Come at once. Seward.
Telegram. Dr. Abraham Van Helsing, Amsterdam, to Dr. Jack Seward, London. I'm on my way to you. Please arrange for me to examine your patient immediately upon my arrival. Van Helsing.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Jack Seward. 6 months before the events recorded here by Miss Harker, I had become engaged to a young lady, Lucy Westenra. We were to be married in the spring, but then she fell deathly ill. I summoned my old teacher, Professor Van Helsing, and he arrived at 4 the next afternoon. I took him at once to Lucy's house. She lay in her bed, asleep. She was ghastly, chalky pale. The red seemed to have gone even from her lips and gums, and the bones of her face stood out.
Young Miss is bad, very bad. She must have blood or she will die. She's not anemic. The qualitative analysis of her blood is quite normal condition. It is strange. I do not like to think how strange. Look! My God, her throat, look!
The black velvet band that she always wore dragged up a little and showed a red mark on her throat. Just over the external jugular vein were 2 punctures, not large but not wholesome looking. The edges were white and worn looking. Well, what is it, Professor? What's wrong with her? Speak frankly, you can tell me the worst.
I wish I could, Sword. I wish I could, but I do not dare.
But won't you tell me anything?
I will tell you this. Your young lady is in a danger greater than death. You must believe me. If you leave her for one moment and harm befalls, you will not sleep easy thereafter.
September 8th. I sat up all night with Lucy.
Arthur, I'm afraid.
My dear, you can sleep tonight. I'm here watching you. Nothing can happen. And I promise, at any sign of bad dreams, if I see anything, I'll wake you at once.
You will? Will you really? Then I'll sleep.
I sat all night by her bedside. She did not wake once during the night, although the boughs or a bat or something slapped almost angrily against the window pane. September 11th, still quoting from my private journals. This time I received a message from Purfleet. It read 10:20 p.m., St. John's Hospital, serious complications, case 891. Your immediate presence in London imperative. I had no choice. One of my patients at the sanatorium, by the name of Renfield, had taken to hysterical ranting and had adopted a disturbingly strange diet. Dr. Van Helsing felt there was a definite connection between this man, Renfield, and the puncture wounds on my dear Lucy's neck.
Now, Mr. Renfield, give it to me.
No, Leslie, please. Please, don't, Leslie. No, Leslie, please, Leslie. No, Leslie. Oh, Leslie, please. No, Leslie, please. No, Leslie. Leslie, don't.
Here, give it to me.
Don't throw my spider away from me. Oh, Leslie, oh.
Ain't you ashamed now, ain't you? Spiders now, ain't it? Eating flies ain't good enough.
Flies? Flies? Poor puny things. Who wants to eat flies?
You do, you loony.
Not when I can get nice fat spiders.
All right, have it your own way.
When I mentioned Renfield to Van Helsing, he insisted on meeting him. But, Professor, Renfield's cravings have always been for small living things, nothing human.
As far as we know, Doctor, but you tell me that he escapes from his room. He's gone for hours. Where does he go?
Here's the patient you requested, sir.
Well, Mr. Renfield, you were looking much better than you did this morning when I arrived.
Thanks, I'm feeling much better.
I am Dr. Van Helsing. I'm here to help you. You understand that, do you not?
Why, of course, and I am very grateful. Keep your filthy hands to yourself.
Now,
Renfield.
Renfield.
No, Master. Take me away from this place.
What are you talking
I've done
to?
everything
Mr.
you
Renfield,
asked,
calm
Master.
down, please.
All
Who
the
are you talking
preparations
to?
for
Is
an
everything
order.
okay?
I await
Mr.
your commands, for I
Renfield,
know
listen
that
to me.
when
Who
the
are you
rewards
talking
are
to?
given,
What are you
I
talking
will be
to?
one of those who
Down.
benefit from your generosity. Please, Master,
Renfield.
take me away.
Unfortunately, while I was in London, even more disturbing things had been taking place back in Purfleet. Sometime later, a paper was found among my fiancée, Lucy Westenra's belongings.
I write this and leave it to be seen so that no one may get into trouble from me. I went to bed as usual, taking care that the window was closed as Dr. Van Helsing had directed. About 2 in the morning, I awakened. I went to the door, called out, "Arthur! Arthur!" There was no answer. Something's broken the window. I'm alone in the room. I dare not go out. The house seems to be empty. The air full of specks, floating, circling in the draught from the window. The light burns blue, dim. What am I to do? Something very sweet and very bitter all around me, like I'm sinking into deep water. They're singing in my ears.
You shall be flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood.
September 12th. Late. Only resolution and habit can let me make an entry tonight. We found her sprawled on the floor, and there was a draft in the room from the broken window. The throat was bare, showing the 2 wounds, looking horribly white and mangled.
We are too late, my friend. We have failed. God's will be done.
She is dying?
Yes, she is dying. Stay beside her. It will make much difference, mark me, whether she dies conscious or in her sleep.
It was late in the afternoon before she opened her eyes.
Arthur, oh my love, I'm so glad you've come.
I took her hand and knelt beside her. Her breath came and went like a tired, peaceful child. And then the light from the setting sun fell on her face, and then, insensibly, a strange change came over her. Her eyes grew suddenly dull and hard. Her breathing was heavy. Her mouth opened and the pale gums drawn back made the teeth look large and sharp.
Arthur, oh my love, I'm so glad you've come. Kiss me! Bend down and kiss
Run
me!
for your life! Run for your living soul and her!
Lucy!
She's dead.
Poor girl. lie in peace at last. The end.
Not so. It is only the beginning. Wait and see.
Extra special, Kensington Horror.
Westminster Gazette, September 25th. A Hampstead mystery. The Kensington Horror and the Woman in Black are vividly recalled to mind by a series of events that have taken place recently in the neighborhood of Hampstead. Several cases have occurred of young children straying from the home or failing to return from playing on the heath. In all these cases, the children have given as their excuse that they've been with a beautiful lady who offered them chocolates. In each case, the child was found to be slightly torn or wounded in the throat. The wound seemed such as might be made by a rat.
Extra special.
Or a small dog.
Extra special, Hampstead Aura. Read about the beautiful lady, extra special.
The Hampstead Horror. Another child injured by the beautiful lady. We've just received intelligence that another child missed last night was only discovered late in the morning. It has the same tiny wound in the throat. Well, Seward, what do you think of that? You mean to tell me, my friend, that you still have no suspicions as to what poor Lucy died of?
Nervous prostration following on great loss or waste of blood.
And how was the blood lost or wasted? You are a clever man, my friend, and a good doctor, but you do not believe that there are things that you cannot understand. You are wrong, Seward. Are you aware of all the mysteries of life and death? Can you tell me why in the Pampas there are bats that come out at night and open the veins of cattle and horses and suck dry those veins? How on some islands of the western seas there are bats which hang on trees all day, and then when the sailors sleep on deck because it is hot, sweep down on them, and in the morning they are found dead men, as white as Miss Lucy was.
I understand none of these things.
After tonight, Seward, if you dare come with me, perhaps then you will understand.
September 29th. Before dawn, and now it is done. And I would sooner die 1,000 deaths than to live again what I did this night.
We will spend the night, you and I, here in this churchyard where Miss Lucy is buried. We enter the tomb.
And then?
We open the coffin. You shall yet be convinced.
Take care, Van Helsing.
Miss Lucy is dead. Is it not so? Then there can be no wrong to her. But if she's not dead?
With some difficulty, we found the Westenra tomb. I took up my place beside a yew tree on one side of the tomb, Van Helsing on the other. I was chilled and frightened. Suddenly, I saw something moving between two yew trees. A dim, white figure which held something at its breast. The figure stopped. I could not see the face, for it was bent down over what I saw to be a fair-haired child. There was a sharp little cry, such as a child gives in sleep or a dog as it lies before the fire and dreams. Then the thing saw us. She drew back with an angry snarl. Her lovely blood-stained mouth grew to an open square. If ever a face met death, I saw it at that moment. Then suddenly she turned and vanished in the direction of the tomb.
The child is unharmed. We leave him in a safe place where the police find him. There's more to do. Come.
Now we're in the tomb. There in the coffin, the thing lay. Like a nightmare of Lucy, the pointed teeth, the blood-stained mouth. Van Helsing never looked up. From his bag he took out a book, his operating knife, a heavy hammer, and a round wooden stake, 2 or 3 inches thick, sharpened to a fine point, and hardened over a fire.
Sword, the life of this unhappy woman has just begun. Then she becomes what you call undead. There comes with this change the curse of immortality. She cannot die, but must go on age after age, adding new victims. Because all that die from the preying of the undead becomes themselves undead and prey on others. So the circle goes on, ever widening as the ripples from a stone thrown into the water. But if this lady, this undead, be made to rest as true dead, then the soul of the poor lady whom we love should be again free.
Tell me, what am I to do?
Take this stake in your left hand, the hammer in your right.
Yes.
Place the point over the heart.
Here?
Then I begin the prayer for the dead. In God's name, strike. Are you ready? Now, Dominitus Christi, Dominitus.
listening to WWPT and Staples Players radio presentation of Bram Stoker's Dracula, adapted for radio by Orson Welles and originally broadcast by the Mercury Theater. We pause now from a word from our sponsors.
Constipation can be a problem for anyone, even doctors. And when constipation occurs, it's interesting to see just what doctors consider important about a laxative they might use or recommend. Well, a majority of the doctors we heard from had this to say.
A laxative should be effective, gentle, close to natural acting, a medicine that can be used with complete confidence.
Now, X-Lax has been very popular with doctors and millions of people over the years because chocolated X-Lax is effective. Overnight, it helps you with your normal regularity. X-Lax is so gentle, so close to natural acting, there's no upset. That's why many doctors and millions of people use X-Lax with complete confidence. X-Lax, the laxative that helps you with your normal regularity, gently, overnight. Agnes, how would you pronounce L-O-N-G?
Why, long, of course.
That's right. Now, how would you pronounce L-O-N-G-E-R?
Longer. What is this, 6th grade recitation?
Oh no, it's just my way of reminding you that king-sized wing cigarettes are now 20% longer.
The king's wings are cooler and smoother.
Get a pack of longer, cooler, smoother, king-sized wing cigarettes.
Waiter! Phyllis, did you ever see such poor service? I'm going to call a manager.
Take it easy, Wanda. What's mostly wrong is your grouch.
I'm sorry, Phyllis, but my digestion is just so upset.
What you may need for your poor digestion is something that works after nature's own ardor. Try Carter's Little Liver Pill. Good advice. When your digestion is upset and you feel headachy and irritable, take Carter's Little Liver Pill. You see, each day nature normally produces about 2 types of a vital digestive juice to help digest your food. If nature fails, your food may remain undigested, leaving you headachy and irritable. To feel cheerful and happy again, take Carter's Little Liver Pill. They increase the flow of this vital digestive juice quickly, often in as little as 30 minutes, and you're on the road to feeling better. Don't depend on artificial aid to counteract indigestion, when Carter's Little Liver Pills aid digestion after nature's own ardor. Take Carter's Little Liver Pills as directed. Get them at any drugstore, only 25 cents.
Yo-ho, yo-ho, brushless or lather, boys, whichever you've the notion. 50 cents for shaving cream, $1 for the lotion. Old Spice means quality, said the captain to the bosun. So look for the package with the ship that sails the ocean. Yo-ho, yo-ho.
Yo-ho, yo-ho.
We now return to WWPT and Staples Players' radio presentation of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
On the morning of July 11th, a man was found on the border of Transylvania. He talked wildly of wolves and boxes of earth and blood. He gave his name as Jonathan Harker. It was during this time that his wife, Mina Harker, and his sister, Gwendolyn, brought to the attention of Dr. Van Helsing and myself the journal that her husband had kept while a prisoner in a castle of a certain Count Dracula in Transylvania. While he was in the hospital at Klausenburg, he improved sufficiently to make possible his removal to England. But then his condition remained so serious that he was committed for observation to a private ward in my hospital at Purfleet. Here, he did so well that in 3 weeks he was completely recovered. I have before me the record of a meeting that took place in my study in Purfleet, transcribed by Mina Harker.
October 1st. Meeting again, 10 after 8. Jonathan next to me, Dr. Seward afterwards, and Dr. Van Helsing at the head of the table.
My friends, there are such things as vampires. Had I known at first what I now know, one so precious a life would have been spared for the many of us who love her. The vampire which is amongst us is himself so strong that he can direct all the elements, the storm, the fog, the thunder. He can command all the meaner things, the moth and bat, the owl, the fox, and the wolf. How then are we to begin our stride to destroy him? How shall we find his place, and having found it, how can we destroy? My friends, it is a terrible task that we undertake. To fail here is not mere life or death. If we fail, we become as him, foul things of the night. As him. What do you say?
I answer for myself.
Come near.
I'm with you.
The professor laid a small golden crucifix on the table. We took hands and our solemn pact was made.
My friends, we too are not without strength. The vampire flourishes on the blood of the living. Without this, he cannot live. He throws no shadow, he makes no reflection in a mirror. He can transform himself into a wolf, to a bat. He can come on moonlight rays as elemental dust. He can see in the dark, he can do all these things, yet he is not free. His power ceases at the coming of the day. Then, until night, he must remain in the shape in which he finds himself, and except in his coffin home, in those earth boxes, he cannot rest. Then we can confine him to his coffin. Then, my friends, if we obey what we know, we will destroy him.
At that moment, something slapped wildly against the window, then...
Did you hit it?
I don't know.
We looked out of the window. Against the black sky, you could see nothing.
Data are now positioned. From the Count's castle to Transylvania to Whitby station came 50 boxes of earth. All of these, to our certain knowledge, were delivered to Carfax. Recently, 12 of these boxes had been removed. First step, ascertain whether all of these boxes remain in the deserted house next door, or whether any more have been removed. We must break each of these boxes and sterilize the earth with holy water so he can no longer seek safety in it, and we must hurry.
The events of the next few days are described in Jonathan Harker's journal.
October 3rd, 5 a.m. Just returned from the empty house. Left Mina here at home. Well, we've done our work here at Carfax. The place was filthy. The air stagnant and foul, and alive with rats. We counted the boxes. Only 38 of them. And over each one, the professor went through his same mysterious work. It was dawn when we got back. I found Mina asleep. She looks paler than usual.
October 2nd. Soon after they left, I fell asleep. I remember hearing the sudden barking of the dogs, and then it was silent. I got up and looked out of the window. There was a thin streak of white mist moving across the grass along the wall of the house. It dawned on me that the air in the room was heavy and dank and cold. The gaslight came only like a tiny red spark in the fog. I could see through my eyelids. The mist grew thicker and thicker. Then as I looked, the spark divided and seemed to shine on me through the fog like two red eyes.
You shall be flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood, blood of my blood.
October 2nd, 8 p.m. We are on the track. 12 boxes were delivered to an empty house at 337 Piccadilly.
My dear friends, until the sun sets tonight, Dracula must retain whatever form he now has. We have this day to hunt out all his lairs and sterilize them. Then he will have no place he can move and hide. But we have only until sunset.
The house in Piccadilly was empty. Like the one at Purfleet, the same sickening smell is in the air. On the table we found a clothesbrush, a brush, and a comb and a basin. The latter containing dirty water, which was reddened as if with blood.
The boxes are back here. 8, 9, 10, 11.
Only 11?
There's a 12th box somewhere.
Gentlemen, it is after 6. The sun is setting. We've no time to lose. We will return at any moment. Open the boxes.
Quiet.
Listen. Here it is. It is he!
The window!
You waste your bullets, gentle. You think you baffle me. You, with your pale faces all in a row like a sheep in a butcher's. You think you have left me without a place to rest, but I have more, and time is on my side. The one you love is mine already. I have known her. Already my mark is on her throat. Flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. She is with me always, over land or sea.
October 4th, morning. Another meeting in the study at Purfleet.
We must find that last remaining box, gentlemen. We must find it. As long as that earth exists and is pure, as long as there remains one place of refuge for Dracula, there is no safety and no peace for any soul in England.
And for the undead, never peace so long as he lives. Blood of my blood. Blood of
Mina,
my blood.
how do you know that?
Quiet.
With me always, over land and sea.
Mina, darling, how did you know that Dracula said those?
I don't know. The words just came. Strange. There are times when I feel that I'm with him.
At sunset?
Yes, just as sun sets, and again at sunrise. Dr. Van Helsing, if at those times you...
Have you the courage?
The courage for what? What do you mean?
Dr. Van Helsing here will question me.
I will question her, yes, in a state of hypnosis. The one you love is already mine, he said. She is with me always, over land or sea. Ah, Count Dracula, perhaps she will betray you if she's really with you. This one we love. Who knows if she's really with you over land or sea?
Lord of my blood.
Mina.
Yes?
Answer me, Mina, are you with him?
Yes, I am with him.
Where are you?
I do not know. It is all dark.
What do you hear?
The lapping of water. I can hear it on the outside.
Then you are on a ship.
Yes.
What else do you hear?
There is the creaking of an anchor chain.
What are you doing?
Still. Oh, so still. It is like death. It is like death.
Here is a report from Matson Peabody, shipbrokers, dated October 5th.
According to Lloyd's lists, the only sailing ship that left for the Black Sea yesterday was the Tsarina Katrina, bound for Varna. Somehow before she sailed, a man came alongside, all in black, driving a cart with a great box in it. This he lifted down single-handed and carried below. No one remembers having seen him after that. A heavy mist came up over Doolittle Dock until sailing time. The rest of London Harbour remained completely clear.
Our plans are made. The average sailing time from London to the Black Sea is 3 weeks. We can travel over land to the same place in 3 days. We shall be there waiting for him when he arrives.
October 15th, arrived Varna about 5 o'clock. Mina feels stronger. Every morning before sunrise and just before sunset, she speaks to Van Helsing in a trance.
Are you with him, Mina? Tell me, are you with him?
I am with him.
What can you see?
Nothing. All is dark.
What can you hear?
I can hear the waves lapping against the ship and the water rushing by. The wind is high. I hear it in the shrouds and the foam.
So the Tsarina Katrina is still at sea, hastily to Varna. The Count cannot cross running water, so he cannot leave the ship without being observed.
What do you hear, Mina?
Lapping waves and rushing water. Darkness. Darkness.
A whole week of waiting. Dated telegram from Lloyd.
Not yet reported. Rushing water. Rushing water. Creeping mist. Darkness. Darkness and wind.
October 24th. Telegram. Lloyd's, London to Harker. Tsarina Katrina reported this morning from Dardanelle.
Lloyd's, London to Harker, October 28th. Tsarina Katrina in heavy fog. Reported entering Galatz Harbour at 1 o'clock today.
Galatz! Galatz is 38 hours from here, and the first train to Galatz leaves at 6:30 tomorrow morning. My friends, we have lost.
I am with you. I can see nothing. Nothing. I can hear men's voices calling in the roar and the prick of the wind. I can feel the air blowing.
October 29th, evening. We are due between 2 and 3 in the morning, but already at Bucharest we are 3 hours late.
What's going on? I feel something pass me like a cold wind. I can hear it far off, confused sounds as of men talking in strange tongues. Fierce falling water and the howling of wolves. There is another sound. How queer a sound. Like
what? Speak, Mina. Speak, I command you. I command you to speak.
Arrived in Galatz. Saw the captain of the Tsarina Katrina.
Welcome aboard. We are over an hour before sunup. We receive a box for a party by the name of Dracula. Had his papers alright. Emanuel Hildesheim his name was.
Mrs. Hildesheim?
This.
Your husband unloaded a box yesterday.
He got from Kyloff by order. Kyloff.
May I speak to Mr. Kyloff?
Oh no, this morning they find him dead inside the churchyard of St. Peter. They find him dead, with his throat torn open.
October 30th, evening.
There are two ways in which Dracula can get back to his own place, by land or by water.
We've examined the map and found the most likely river is the Seraph.
You and I, Seward, will chart a steam launch and follow him up the river. Van Helsing and Mina will take a train to Veresti, and from there
we shall go to the track where Harker went to Bistritza, over to Borgo. If you have not caught him before, we shall be meeting Dracula there.
October 31st, All Hallows Eve. We arrived at Veresti at noon. Van Helsing and I brought the carriage here. We start in an hour. Our enemy is still on the river.
October 31st. We can earn good speed up the river at night. There's plenty of water, and the banks are wide apart.
November 1st, evening. No news all day. We hear that a big boat went up the river before us, going at more than usual speed.
November 4th, all day driving. The country gets wilder as we go. By morning we should reach the Borgo Pass.
November the 4th, evening. We have left the launch. We've got horses and we follow along the track along the river. We are armed.
Look, quick, there they are now, heading west.
Through the dawn, we can see the Slovaks some mile before us, dashing along the river with their wagon. On it is a great box.
In the late afternoon, we leave the Borgo Pass.
Van Helsing, look! Look!
We could see a long way all around, far off beyond the white waste of snow, like a black ribbon curling between us and the river. Not far off came a group of men, mounted Slovaks riding along. In the midst of them was a wagon that swept from side to side. On the wagon was a great box.
Look!
We see two horses following fast, coming up from the south, Seward and Harker. The Slovaks with their heavy wagons are losing their ground. Now they mustn't be not more than a mile behind. Now the wagon is quite closer. We can see the great box laying bravely. Now they are almost upon us. Now has happened a strange thing. The wagon smashed into a great rock buried in the snow, lost its front wheel and turned over on its side, jammed against the stone. The horses tore loose from their tracers and bolted, and the Slovaks scattered and vanished after them. Then in silence. Silence like comes after ringing a bell.
Look, his face.
It is Dracula, sprawled out stiff and twisted in his smear of his own holy earth. The box in falling had emptied his dirt into the snow. His face is old looking. The skin is like paper. Dr. Seward, there is no time. Look at the sun.
Sunset.
In 1 minute it is sunset, and he's forever lost to us. Have you the stake of wood and the hammer?
Yes.
Now, Seward, pray for us. Kneel down and pray.
Our Father,
Harker,
which art in heaven,
take the stake of wood over the heart. Be not afraid, Harker. Do not look into his eyes. The hammer. Now, Harker, strike! Strike!
Flesh of my flesh, gift of my gift, death of my death. Speak and be manifest in the instinct of your master's peril. Elements of darkness, rain, evil wind, mist, and mold and tempest.
Strike!
Claw, wing, hoof, scale, tissue of flesh, death of my death, dead and undead. The hand of the living is over your master. Console me, my children. This instinct is no longer in the space between two heartbeats, but the night is not here, and I am lonely. Come to your master, my children. Beguile him now in the instant of his peril. Beguile him with the sound of your names. Claw, wing, tooth, scale, tissue of flesh. Claw, wing, tooth, scale, tissue
Strike, Harker, strike!
Forgive us our
There
trespasses.
is one very dear to me, who is not yet answered. My love, Mina! There is less than a minute between me and the night. You must speak for me. You must speak with my heart.
Give them to me! Jonathan, give them to me! Give me the stick of wood and the hammer!
Harker!
I shall never forget that moment. The look on poor Mina's face as she stood there. The angry scar standing out on her throat. Her eyes like living coals in the last red of the sunset. She had torn the stake and the hammer out of my hands with the strength of an animal.
And forgive us.
Mina, do you know what you have done to us, woman?
Thy will be done on
Do you
earth.
know what you have done? You have released him. The evil is free.
Look, the sun!
As we looked down at Dracula, his eyes saw the sinking sun, and the hate in them turned to triumph.
Flesh of my flesh. Come to me, my love. Come into the night and the darkness. You have served me well. My love, my bride, my... Ah!
Ladies and gentlemen, all the evidence is now before you. I've added nothing, and to the best of my knowledge, I've omitted nothing that might help to throw light upon the extraordinary events of the year 1891, which culminated on that terrible evening in the Borgo Pass. There remains only this one last report.
Then Mina Harker seized the stake and the hammer from her husband. I believe she was under some form of hypnosis. She herself remembers nothing, but whatever influence was at work on her, she must at the last moment have rejected it. For at the exact moment the sun disappeared, it was Mina Harker who drove the stake through the heart of the thing that called itself Dracula. At the same instant, even as we looked, the wound on the side of her throat was no more. As for Dracula, before the screams of the creature had died from our ears, the whole body crumbled into dust and passed from our sight. In the final moment of the solution, there was in the face a look of peace, such as I could never have imagined might have rested there.
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case Count Dracula has left you a little apprehensive, one word of comfort. When you go to bed tonight, don't worry. Put out the lights and go to sleep. It's all right. You can rest easily. That's just a sound effect. There, over there in the shadows, see? Nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. I think it's nothing. But always remember.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are wolves, there are vampires. Such things do exist.
This is the WWPT and Staples Players Radio. Good night, and thank you for listening.
Happy Halloween. We